Welcome to my home office slash studio. This is a bedroom that is 11 feet by 11 feet box that I have turned into a place where I can get creative, where I can do Zoom calls, coach calls, shoot YouTube videos, and so much more. And in this video, I'm gonna be breaking down how I've intentionally, thoroughly thought out how to mount things to keep things off the floor and to also sound dampen. And I'm gonna be showing you how I'm able to maximize such a small space for content creation. So let's get it.
You gotta just press record.
Hey, what's up? It's Omar with Think Media. Now we'll be sure to post links down to everything in the description below, but I just wanna let you know that this has been a long time coming. So if you see something that's premium, it's because I've thought it through. But take what I say as principles and how I've set up this space so that you could potentially apply it to your space as well. But let's start with this full on, I call it a battle station. This is my desk setup. I have this autonomous ergonomic chair that's really comfortable. Obviously you can use whatever chair you would like, but everything rests on a Husky workbench. These are actually fairly inexpensive from Home Depot. I think Lowe's has a different brand, but you can get essentially the same thing. But what I love about this desk is that it's super heavy duty. It's about $250 or so, and it's a manual cranking desk. I'm not the type of guy that usually stands when he works at a desk. If I'm at a desk, I'm probably sitting. But what I love about this desk is that it comes with caster wheels. And so I actually find myself moving this desk a lot, and everything on this desk is clamped on the desk. And so whether it's the mic arm, the mounts of the monitors I have, they're clamped on the desk because if I need to change up my shot, I can easily do that. But let's go into the lighting first. So when it comes to the lighting, it's actually like, I think is the secret sauce of my studio, is I don't have any light stands. I actually have a vary pole that's a tension rod, and then I have a super clamp that's holding on to this Amaran 60D light. It's a very simple light. And then I actually have another one, if you could flip it over. So there's another one over here, and you would ask like, why do you have this light over here? This is my hair light. And so I have both lights mounted to these vary poles, and they're awesome because they don't, you don't need to screw in anything. They're just tension rods, but I actually have them hooked up to a power adapter that just connects to this remote, and then I could just walk in, press this, and then boom, the lights are on, the light goes, and I'm good to go. So that is the lighting setup. I would also say that lamp, I think having a floor lamp in the background is nice. That's from IKEA. But if you just search floor lamp on Amazon, they got some really good ones. And then this light in the corner right here is a Govee light that can change all kinds of colors and stuff. I actually just use it as a fill. So that light is just making my background a little bit more warm. And so that's kind of the lighting setup here in my space. As far as the audio setup for both my Zoom calls and my YouTube videos is the Rode PodMic USB. This mic is really cool because it is USB, but it's also XLR. And like I said, everything's intentional. So I really thought this through. When I'm using this mic for a Zoom call, I have it plugged in via USB into my Mac Mini. Now, if I want to shoot YouTube videos, I actually unplug the USB and then I plug in the XLR into the back like so. And by the way, another cool intentional piece is getting a right angle XLR cable so it doesn't poke out so much, which is really nice. And now this plugs into my YouTube camera, which I'll break down in just a second. And so that's my audio solution for both whatever I do on my computer, as well as when I'm filming content. And I have this mic mounted with Elgato's low profile mic arm, which I love because it actually stays out of the shot from the webcam setup. So you don't really see the mic arm in the shot, which, people go either way. I just like the cool, clean, sleek, and they have really good elements to hide cables and things like that. So that is the Elgato low profile mic arm. And when it comes to the actual camera setup that I have, this is the Sony ZV-E10, and I'm using the Sigma 16mm 1.4 lens. And I still am using an HDMI output to grab the feed. But this is a very simple setup, and I've been loving it. I've been using it for maybe 2 or 3 years. When I'm ready to shoot YouTube videos, we can come over here. My setup over here is actually a FX30 with a 30mm on it. So it's a lot more compressed. And so what's cool about this setup is it has an XLR input. So this is where the Rode PodMic USB gets plugged straight into, and my settings are all dialed. But here's what's cool about this setup. This is actually a tripod that Ulanzi set out, and it's fully carbon fiber, meaning it's super lightweight. And you can see how it doesn't take up a big footprint, which I like because this camera's in the corner. And they have actually built in the quick release that I absolutely love. So if I need to shoot YouTube videos, I could simply slide on the camera like so. But if I want to shoot, vertical videos like reels and shorts, I can actually rotate the camera this way and then shoot content this way right at my desk, which is dope. And another cool thing that I've done with this setup is I've gotten a wireless remote. So this remote connects Bluetooth to pretty much any Sony camera. And once recording, it literally just starts the recording. So I don't have to keep getting up and walking back to the actual camera itself. That's kind of the setup. I mentioned I use a Mac Mini. This monitor right here is a 32-inch monitor from ViewSonic, and I've been using this monitor for literally, I don't know, 5-6 years. And this monitor right here is actually operated by a single cord with both display and power. And it's very inexpensive. It's not a high quality monitor, but what I use this monitor for is for slide decks. So if I'm sharing something or if I want to share screen, I know whatever I put on here and I share on what's on this screen is what people will see. So I think if you're doing stuff like that, at a minimum, you should have a second monitor. But 32 inches is really big, enough for me to get a lot of what I need done. Another secret sauce to this computer setup actually is this CalDigit TS3 hub. They actually have a TS4, but this has been working great, and you can actually save some money by buying a little bit older. But this has my SD card reader. It expands more ports from the Mac Mini that's in the back of this whole setup. And so I'm able to plug a lot of things into this device and really to just make everything work together, and it's awesome. And so whether I'm doing the Zoom calls or the YouTube videos, this thing absolutely crushes, but that's my desk setup. This video was brought to you by StreamYard. StreamYard is our go-to platform for streaming to YouTube and Facebook, with an incredibly easy to use interface for built-in branding, transitions, text lower thirds, and seamlessly bringing on guests. It really is one of the best options when it comes to live streaming. And what's so cool is they've implemented a brand new feature called local recording. Take control of your audio and video with local recordings by separating out your audio and video from your guests. This feature gives you the control over your content for later use, making it perfect for podcasts and video creators. Just go to streamwiththink.com to get started now. So there are some things I've actually done to make sure that the audio sounds as good as possible in this place. This is like a concrete box. I just have my tile and my walls. So I have sound treated the room. The first thing I would bring up are these very inexpensive audio mute sound blanket panels. I say blanket, but they're really thick. And I also have one over here that I use to actually black out the window. So this office has no real natural light coming in, which I want to artificially light up this space. So it doesn't matter what time of day I'm filming, whether it's morning or night, it looks the same. But these two things have helped tremendously. If you look up ahead of me, there's actually a sound panel that was purchased on a website. Again, I'll post links down to everything in the description, but this is gonna help with some of the audio that's getting bounced from the ceiling. And then this was left over from Kyle Anderson from the Think team. He gave me this, and so just putting things in place like that has dampened the audio a lot. Another thing that helps with sound treatment is actually furniture and a rug. So always having a rug at minimum, but the more furniture you add, the better. So that's kind of how I've been able to maximize the audio quality from this place. This is actually a cool little thing too. So, I make YouTube videos. So that means I also have to make thumbnails, and oftentimes I'll have to shoot photos of myself. But I actually just taped a small piece of gray paper here, and I've taken so many thumbnails from this place, whether it be product thumbnails or my face and things like that. But just having this here has been super beneficial for the productivity of getting a thumbnail done. If I just need to snap something real quick, I'll just throw up a light, take a photo, and we'd be good to go. Now, when it comes to designing your space to create content in or even just work in, I've learned a lot of things over the years as I've redesigned this space many times, as well as my studio and also other people's studios as well. And the first thing to consider is to decide on your vibe. And it's important to know what you're attracted to. Do you want a bright and airy space? Do you like how mine looks because it kind of looks more welcoming, because it's kind of like homey and warm? Deciding on that will help you influence the type of things you buy, like the furniture you purchase or the color you choose to paint a wall per se. But all these things come into play based on the look that you're going for. And so it's really important to kind of decide that in advance. I would say some things that I've learned along the way has been to use very lightweight furniture. You know, a lot of the stuff that you see is IKEA. You know, I have like a floating shelf behind my left shoulder, and then I have this Fajablo kind of media console behind me, but they're very lightweight and it allows me to move it if I need to, if I want to switch up something or, you know, change up the shot, what have you. It's easy to do. Another cool thing I like to include are fake plants, you know, plants that don't die, because you already know that I'll probably forget to water this guy. So having fake plants in places can actually add some life to a studio. And then when it comes to things that you're hanging up or pictures in frames, I really want you to consider not having reflective glass in front. These pictures you see on this floating shelf behind me, I've removed the glass so that whenever I'm filming, there's not gonna be a reflection. And then the calendar I have, which is called a Stendig calendar that I have on the wall, it's a paper calendar, so there is no reflections. When that's my background, whether I'm doing Zoom calls or live streams and things like that, you don't see a reflection. And all this is very intentional because I don't want people to be distracted when watching my content. I see a lot of newer creators oftentimes, they just make it really hard for people to consume their content, whether the audio is bad or maybe you're too dark and things like that. So a lot of things take into consideration. Now, designing a space that you want to create from should definitely make you feel inspired. So work toward that feeling that when you walk into your space, when you're working in your space, you wanna be there because it's gonna come off in your energy. But I hope you got value in this video. If you wanna check out a more deep dive on my office, you can click or tap the screen. And I can't wait to see you in a future video. Peace.